There's a new data law being introduced in the UAE. Let me tell you a little bit about it in this short video. Welcome back. I'm Yusuf Ahmed, an international lawyer. My boutique practice specialises in all aspects of commercial law. The UAE has announced that it is introducing a new comprehensive data law in the country. This is being brought in as part of a national programme called the Projects of the 50, which is a series of national strategic projects and initiatives being launched by the UAE authorities to underpin the nation's development and growth for the future, and ties in with the UAE's 50th anniversary this year as a nation. 50 big projects are being unveiled to mark the occasion of the country's 50th anniversary and to establish a strategic pathway for the ongoing development of the country for the next 50 years. The introduction of the new data law is one of these announced projects and is inevitably going to be of interest to all types of businesses and organisations in the UAE that will come under its remit and which collect, store and use customer data as part of their operations. For those who are unfamiliar with the UAE's existing data protection laws, I would highlight that at this current point in time, the country does not have a singular comprehensive data protection law in place that emanates from the federal level and which extends across the country. Rather, till now, other existing federal laws have been used to deal with and govern things like privacy and data security in general, and as well as that, certain data protection provisions have been applicable to certain sectors. So it has perhaps been a bit of a fragmented approach to date when it comes to data protection regulation and governance across the UAE mainland. And this brings me on to another point that is probably worth mentioning. Some specially designated jurisdictions within the UAE, most notably the financial free zones, such as the English-speaking common law jurisdictions of the Dubai International Financial Centre, often referred to in its abbreviated form as the DIFC, and the Abu Dhabi Global Market, the ADGM, they already have detailed and thorough data protection regulations in place, which are broadly on par with the comprehensive data protection laws found elsewhere, like Europe's GDPR and the UK's Data Protection Act. The new data law that has been announced is being introduced at a federal level and will be the country's first comprehensive data protection law to operate right across the country's mainland. What we know so far is that this new piece of law is currently being drafted with consultation and input from major tech companies. So what can we expect from it? It looks like it is going to have a global approach and outlook in general, having regard to the large number of international businesses that are based in the UAE and which operate globally. It is envisaged that the new law will enable a smooth and seamless transfer of information and data across international borders. It also looks like there will be a plan to strike a balance between privacy, cost, compliance and commerce. The intent is to have a low cost of compliance and not to burden SMEs in particular, nor put an increased financial burden on larger enterprises. Based on the information available so far, the new data law is likely to introduce certain rights for individuals, such as the right to be forgotten, rights of access, and the right to information held about them in general. In addition, where personal data that is collected and stored is monetized in some way or used for marketing purposes, then it is expected that there will be certain provisions and obligations around this to ensure that it is only used in this way with consent. In summary, individuals can expect to acquire certain rights in respect of how their personal data and information is used, stored and shared by businesses and organisations in the UAE. And those businesses and organisations operating in the UAE and coming under the remit of the new data law will need to ensure that the data that they are collecting, storing and using is all done in a way that conforms with the new law. Alright, that's it for this one. If you require any advice or guidance on local or international data protection laws, or would like to know more about how they might affect you or your business, then feel free to get in touch by sending me an email with your inquiry. I would be delighted to assist you and or your business in any way that I can. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you next time.